Hey guys, it's me, Holly Madison. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a little Q and A. Get ready with me, with you guys, and I'm saving the most personal question for last, as I always do. So if you hit the like and subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it, and let's get started. Okay, so the first question I have is from Ashley, and it's Hocus Pocus or Halloween Town. I asked for questions like right before Halloween, the first round of these questions. So some of these might be Halloween themed, but even though I love Hocus Pocus, I kind of have to pick Halloween Town because I lived in the town that Halloween Town was shot from like 6th grade to 12th grade. That town is called St. Helens, Oregon. It's like an hour outside of Portland, and it was shot there, and they still to this day will like dress up the town square with a big pumpkin and call it Halloween Town. It's really cute. So I can't not pick Halloween Town, even though I think Hocus Pocus is a better movie overall. It's just cute to see like the little downtown area and like the old theater from town. I actually would love to investigate that old theater because it was allegedly haunted. Like I used to hear all these stories about how haunted that theater was when I was in junior high, and I would go see movies there. And I didn't experience anything there, but I oftentimes don't really feel a presence or experience things when I'm around a lot of people. Like when I would have been in the movie theater, it would have been packed. It was the only movie theater in town. So I have a harder time like tapping into energies, and usually things don't really occur unless I'm like alone or in a much smaller group or like with one other person. I like it when it happens when other people are around though, because then you have witnesses. Candace asks if I like the Starbucks pumpkin spice latte. I don't. I actually tried one years ago. It was like way back when I was on Girls Next Door and we were in a limo. I always laugh when I say limo because I feel like limos seem like the most old-fashioned thing in the world. But when we were taking a limo to go do Loveline, remember that show? I tried the pumpkin spice latte and I tried a hot one and I thought it was really gross. I might have liked it if I tried a cold one because I prefer iced coffee. But no, but you know what I love is the peppermint mocha. I'm obsessed, and I get one right around my birthday every year. I have to limit it. I have to be that strict and be like, no, you're only getting one a year. Otherwise I would drink those things like there's no tomorrow, and there's so much sugar. I was just saying to my friend, I wish they made like a truly sugar-free peppermint mocha. Like I know you could, there's certain syrups you can get at Starbucks that are sugar-free, or you can do like the skinny version, but I mean like sugar-free. Somebody asks, is my house still haunted? Yes, it is. It has been a lot less active ever since we filmed the Ghost Adventures episode there. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if they feel heard or what the deal is, but definitely still haunted. I have had some minor experiences since then, and I don't want to get rid of my ghosts, really. I like them. I'm gonna go plug in a straightener really quick because I'm gonna need it. Madeline asks if I'll post my Frankenberry treats recipe. I don't need to because it's literally just exactly the same as a Rice Krispie treats. You just put Frankenberry in there instead of Rice Krispies, and it is so good. I love those things. Somebody asked if I've ever been to Halloween Horror Nights. I have. Here's a picture of me from the last time I went. And I always laugh at that picture because my boyfriend took it, but he wasn't in the picture with me. And I feel like I look like I'm standing with an invisible boyfriend. Like it reminds me of that picture in Back to the Future where Marty's siblings are disappearing. Like, doesn't it look like the way it's centered and stuff? Like there should be somebody standing next to me, but there's not. So somehow that photo became a private joke. Like I make fun of him about it still to this day when I think of it. I actually prefer Not Scary Farm to Halloween Horror Nights. I think the haunted houses are a little bit more creative. And I also like an excuse to go have like the chicken dinner at Mrs. Knott's restaurant. And I think there's a little bit more atmosphere at Knott's Berry Farm, which kind of lends itself to like a Halloween walkthrough. Whereas Universal's a little more, you know, utilitarian, like backlot studios looking. I have not done Horror Nights and ventured into Wizarding World though. Is that open? Somebody let me know if they open that during Horror Nights. I'm gonna mispronounce this name. Kana or Kana asks, have you ever experienced anything spooky at Disney? No, I know there are areas that are haunted. I've heard really amazing stories from cast members, friends who used to be cast members. I would love to experience something spooky there, but I never have. And like I said before, you know, I don't often experience things when I'm around a ton of people. And obviously Disneyland tends to be really crowded. And there are times like for my wedding when, you know, I had places to myself or with not a lot of people, but also like it's my wedding, so I'm very distracted. So I'm not really like noticing the energy of a room so much. Not that haunted things can't happen when you're distracted or a bunch of people around. I just feel like for me, it's more rare. So I would love to have a spooky experience at Disneyland, but I have yet to. I will keep you guys posted if it ever happens. Dreamy Moonglow asks, have you thought about growing your own pumpkin patch? No, I have never thought of that, but suddenly nothing sounds more dreamy and goal-worthy than growing my own pumpkin patch. I think that would look so cute with my house too, because my house is kind of like witchy looking. Somebody asks, have you ever seen an apparition outside? I never have. Anytime I've seen an apparition, it's always been inside at one of the houses I've lived in. And let me know if you guys want a story time of like my haunted houses, because I've lived in so many over the years. And I could do a whole story time just doing like a highlight story from each house. So let me know if I should do that. The closest I've ever come to seeing an apparition outside, and of course I didn't see this with my two eyes, but years ago we were having a second birthday party for my daughter in the backyard, and my friend Denise was taking pictures on her camera, and she's like, oh, look at this. And she shows me on the monitor, and there's a picture of me holding my daughter, and there's two like grayish clouds hovering over my shoulders. And she's like, I've never seen anything like this in a photo before. And she's a professional photographer. So I had the photo printed out, and on the print, there it is right there. And I still keep that photo in my office. It's one of my favorite things. I'm not sure what those apparitions were. There's no explanation for it. We weren't able to debunk it at all. I like to believe it's spirits. But I really want to go to Gettysburg and see if I can see the soldiers. Do you know what I'm talking about? How people can see soldiers marching through Gettysburg still. Somebody asked, are you wondering why the skeleton dance is not on Disney Plus? Yeah, that's interesting because they have a lot of the silly symphonies on there. But I'm also wondering why Child of Glass is not on there. Child of Glass was this Disney movie they made in the 70s, and they used to rerun it on the Disney Channel when I was little, and I loved it. It's about this family who buys like an old Southern mansion, and they move in, and the little boy starts seeing ghosts, and the ghost sends him on like a scavenger hunt to find this doll that's filled with diamonds, because I don't remember the details because it's been so long since I've seen this, but like some like mean old man spirit is keeping this little girl spirit hostage until she finds the diamonds. So she contacts like the little boy to go find the diamonds, and it's just everything I love, like a spooky old haunted mansion and ghosts, and I just love it. And they used to run it on Disney Channel when I was little, and I feel like even though the movie, like when I look it up now, I see it's called Child of Glass. I think they used to call it Glass Doll or the Glass Doll when it was on Disney Channel, because either that or me and my sister just made it up and started calling it Glass Doll, because we'd always call this movie Glass Doll. But I love it, and I want that on Disney Plus. If you could spend a night at any haunted place, where would you pick? I would pick a place that would definitely, since I can pick anywhere, I would pick a place that would definitely be off limits to me otherwise as far as spending the night. And I think I would definitely pick Versailles. I love Versailles. I would love to just, you know, bring a sleeping bag and some pizza and camp out in the Hall of Mirrors or somewhere. I know they just opened like a tiny boutique hotel where you can actually stay on the grounds at Versailles, which would be nice. But like, I want to stay in the actual palace overnight and see what's going on. Oh, you know, that's actually a good example of a place that's really crowded where I have gone and I was able to feel the energy. There's this one room you walk into And I felt the energy so hard in that room. It felt like somebody came up from behind me and like kicked me in the back of the knees. I just wanted to fall down. It was crazy. Like I said, I asked for questions before Halloween, so a lot of these are spooky themed, but you know, Halloween's never really over, is it? Somebody asked if I had to wear a Halloween costume for the rest of my life, what would I choose? This isn't anything elaborate. It's actually quite comfortable, which is one of the reasons I would choose it. But I love the Scoops Ahoy dress from Stranger Things. I was wearing it in that picture I showed earlier, and I just love it. I think it's cute, it's comfortable. I love to wear it with little striped socks. I mean, I got that thing a couple years ago and I wore it so many times. And it has pockets. So yeah, like if I could choose one thing to wear, like, and it's cute. It's not necessarily like the aesthetic, because of course, like if you're gonna pick your so-called ghost outfit, like what you're gonna be seen in for eternity, I might pick like a flowing white gown or something like that. But just realistically, if I'm trying to be comfortable and look cute, I would choose the Scoops Ahoy dress. Somebody asked if I decorate my whole house for Halloween. I don't decorate it at all because my house already looks like a witch's house. Not this house. Obviously, you're looking around me, you're like, that looks pretty basic, sweetie. But no, my LA house already looks like a witch's house, so I don't really know what I do to decorate it for Halloween to make it look more Halloween-y. It's kind of already there. And then this house I'm like never in. I'm in it to film videos more than anything, to be completely honest. I keep pulling out this Physicians formula thing because it smells so good. And it doesn't look like it'd be a bright blush. It looks like it would be a bronzer with like a pink that doesn't really register. But every time I put it on, I'm like, dang, look like I got a sunburn. But it smells really good. Somebody asked if Hollywood could remake any horror movie and you could be in it, what character would you play? I don't know if this really counts as a horror movie, but the first thing I thought of was whatever happened to Baby Jane. I would love to be Baby Jane. I love that look. Ever since I first saw a clip of that when I was a little kid, I was fascinated by Bette Davis in that role, and I love it. I actually wanted to be Baby Jane for Halloween this year, and I just didn't get around to it for some reason. So I might just like dress up as her on a random day and like make TikToks or something. Somebody asks which ride I would replace at Disneyland. And this is kind of sad because it is like kind of an opening day attraction in a way. But I think the submarines need replaced. Like nobody's really comfortable on that ride. Nobody really likes it. I liked it when I was little. And I do think it has some cool effects in it now. But I feel like to be really entertained by Finding Nemo, you kind of have to be a really young kid. Not that there shouldn't be stuff for really young kids at Disneyland. There should be. But it's just like that submarine area takes up so much real estate. And I just feel like over the years, you know, since I've been alive and going to Disneyland, it seems like it's closed a lot. And I feel like they should just like extend Fantasyland into that area and put some cool attractions, like maybe some really cool dark rides. Not Beauty and the Beast, something like Beauty and the Beast. I say not Beauty and the Beast because I like it when all the Disney parks are different. Like I want the brand consistency, but I want different attractions at each park just because I think that's cooler. I want to say something kind of like Frozen Ever After would be cool there. Like again, I don't want to do duplicate. I say it like I'm in charge, like I'm really doing it. But like I don't want to do duplicate rides, so I don't want to copy a ride from Disney World. But if you could do like a boat ride that's kind of like Frozen Ever After, but maybe a different fairy tale. Could do like a Tangled ride, but you're in the boat, like when they go out and look at the lanterns. Another Disney question, top 3 holiday treats I want to try at Disneyland this year. I'm so prepared for this question. I might not have ever been as prepared for a question as I am right now because I looked at like the announcement for all the new holiday treats coming out this year. And I've already picked out 4 that I have to have. I definitely want, this isn't like a new one, they do it every year, but I want the pink peppermint ice cream sundae from Gibson Girl, because I love pink peppermint ice cream. It's my favorite flavor. I'm not even all that ice cream crazy, except when pink peppermint comes out. Then I go nuts. So I'm getting that. They have like a dessert nacho. I forget where they actually have that at. I'll have to go back and look, but they have a dessert nacho now. Looks so good. They have a holiday themed Dole Whip swirl coming out at Tropical Hideaway. And it's like a pinkish red and green swirl. I'm trying to think what the flavors are. I know one is cherry. What's the other one? Pistachio. I tried that combo at Disney World once, and it wasn't great just because the cherry, it tastes good at first for the first couple of bites, but then it started to taste like medicine. So I'm curious if this one's gonna taste like that, but it's just so cute. I really wanna try it anyway. And the fourth thing I really wanna get is they have a pink coconut churro, and it's just like the cutest looking, best looking churro I've ever seen. So very excited to try that. Also, like that flavor combo kind of reminds me of like a Hostess snowball, and I love a Hostess snowball. I think I'm the only person on the planet that does. Everybody talks about those like they're gross, but you know what's gross? Tiger tails, okay? Go take your tiger tail and run. Somebody asks, any update on my witch room? Any new buys for it? I mean, I bought little things here and there. Like I just did a haul pretty recently here on the channel because I went shopping for some witch store things. I was thinking the other day, if I remodeled that room a little bit, what would I do? It's a very small room, and one of the walls is like completely covered with a mirror, which I get, it makes the room look bigger, but it doesn't really go with like my whole vintagey, witchy vibe. I feel like I could make my shelves in there cuter too, even if it was like by painting them a dark brown and maybe adding like some molding around the corners, something to make it look like a cuter apothecary and not just white shelves in the wall. Chell to the Sea asks, when will the show based on your book come out? I've told you guys, and it's been announced that there's going to be, I think, a 10-part mini-series, limited series on my book, Down the Rabbit Hole. Very excited about it. I don't have an announcement I can do right this second. There is news coming very soon. And even so, like, I don't know like when it would be out or what the schedule would be, you know. I'm so excited for you guys to see it. It hasn't been announced who the director is, but she's really amazing. And just, she made this lookbook for what she has in mind, and it's just so good. And I'm just really excited for it to be made because I know it will be made right. And there's just such a talented team on board. And it's crazy because when I first thought about optioning the book, I didn't even like think it would get made. The thing that prompted me was, do you remember when Lauren Conrad wrote the books that I think it was called the LA Candy series, because the first one was called LA Candy. And I remember seeing in a magazine that a production company had optioned the rights to that. And I thought, that sounds so cool. I want to be able to say that somebody's optioned the rights to my show. And I just thought that sounded so cool. Like I wanted to be able to say that my book had been optioned too. And of course, you know, when you're going out there and marketing it like that, that it could be made, but I didn't really think it would. I just wanted to be able to say it was optioned, and now it's actually happening. So it's so crazy. Recipes on Paper asks what my favorite parenting hack is. And the first thing I thought of, and this isn't going to be like a major thing that changes your life, but it's just so simple, and I can't believe it took me so long to hop onto this, but it's combination shampoo and conditioner. Like when I first had my daughter, I was all about buying, still am, like the Honest Company and like the 7th generation and just like the very natural, not a lot of extra fragrances or chemicals added. And I used to get the Honest Company bundles. I don't know if they still do those anymore. And I would always get the shampoo and the conditioner. And then like not too long ago, I think my daughter was 6 when I finally caught on to the fact that this would be a good idea. I was in Whole Foods looking for shampoo and conditioner, and they were out of the Honest. So they had another brand, I forget the name, but it was like another natural, like hippy dippy brand. And it was a combo shampoo and conditioner. And I think I was always turned off to combo shampoo and conditioner just because like my hair needs a ton of conditioner to live. So that doesn't work for me, but it works for most other people on the planet, especially kids. So I tried it. It worked just as well, if not better, than anything I'd been using before. And it's just like, if you have kids, you know what it's like giving them a bath. Like they don't love the hair washing part. They don't love when you have to like dump a bucket of water on their head to rinse it out. And you have to do it twice, obviously with shampoo and conditioner. So just condensing it into one with the combination shampoo and conditioner, I was like, why did it take me so long to catch on to this? Like my daughter was 6 by the time I caught onto it, and it's a game changer. EJ Amara asks, if you worked at Disneyland, which job would you want? You know what I heard about recently from TikTok? It was like a former cast member was on there talking about how all the people hired to like play Disney princesses or face characters, well, mostly princesses. I think it's mostly like the female characters with long hair. They have to wear a wig unless they are deemed hair ready. I think that was the term. And I was like, can you imagine being like a hair ready Princess Aurora? Like, can you imagine your hair being so thick and bouncy and long and fabulous that you're hired to play Princess Aurora and you don't need the wig? I mean, it would be kind of awkward in real life because you'd have to have those weird like cinnamon roll bangs. But I thought, you know, if I could have any job at Disney, just magically. No, I know what job I would have. I can't believe I was even going down the wrong tangent. I was going to say that I would love to be a hair ready Elsa, which means I would have to bleach this out a little bit more so my hair would be white. I'd probably have to cut my bangs a little differently so we could do like the thing that she has going on. But I love Elsa. I would love to be Elsa in the parks in another life. I feel like working as a Disney face character is like the one thing in life that I missed out on doing. But can you imagine being a hair ready Elsa? I hate the Elsa wigs. I'm so sorry, but the Elsa wigs in the park look like founding father, old lady, golden girl wigs. Like I know, yeah, Elsa's supposed to have white hair, but I feel like it would be a better look if the wig had like a really light ash root, like not dark like my root, but like the lightest, like ash blonde root that goes to white, just to give it some dimension. So it's not so like cotton candy, old lady, founding father type of a thing. And I feel like when they do, like I know they're doing like the Frozen 2 with the long hair a lot now in the parks, but I feel like when they do like the Elsa wig in the park, they could even use a thicker, bigger braid. I did a portrait with a Disney artist as Elsa way back when Frozen came out. And that was the one thing I think we could have done better, is my braid was a little scant. But yeah, I was going to say hair ready Elsa, but I can't believe I even forgot my actual dream job at Disney is I want to be the Tinkerbell that gets on the high wire and climbs up the Matterhorn and starts the fireworks. Like that's always been my dream job. Anytime I say it's my dream job though, people chime in, like as if I'm going to get this job anyway, but people chime in and they're like, you're too tall. I don't know, guys. My spirit is just telling me you need to be that Tinkerbell. What did I just get on my face? Okay, so I saved this question for last because I feel like, I don't know how long I'm going to ramble on about it, but I feel like I could go on about it. Disney Girl Probs asks, would you change anything written in your books, or are you happy with them? For the most part, I'm really, really happy with them. But asking an author what they would change in their work is always a little tricky because I think we always want to keep changing and you just have to have that deadline or else you're just going to keep picking it to death. For my second book, The Vegas Diaries, I would actually like to change a lot because when I made the deal to do that book, they're like, okay, we want it to come out in a year. And I thought, okay, that sounds right, because it took about a year of active writing for me to finish Down the Rabbit Hole. And that was my first book. So I thought, well, if I could do my first book in a year, then I can do my second book in 6 months because I've learned so much about the process. I say 6 months because if they wanted the book to come out in a year, I would have like 6 months to write it, and then it would go into edits and we'd be doing the edits and like the legal review and everything like that before it comes out. You guys, I can't stop piling on the blush. And I had like a vague idea of what I wanted the Vegas Diaries to be. Like I knew definitely like what era in my life I wanted to write about. But when I first started it, I kind of wanted it to be a little bit, not like a dating advice book, but like a memoir where I could tell like all my misadventures in dating and people could read that and walk away with takeaways on how they could not do that or do that better. But then it kept evolving. And by the time I finally realized what I wanted that book to be, it was time to turn it in, and like we were in edits, so it was too late. So I feel like I would change a lot with that one. With Down the Rabbit Hole, I feel like I can only think of like tiny nitpicky things I would change. Like the one thing I can think of is there was a chapter in the book where I was talking about how there was like this epidemic of playmates working for these escort services. And when I was telling this story, I referenced an article that Rolling Stone had written about the madam who was working with a lot of these women at the time. And it was really important for me to reference that article because it's a backup that like what I'm talking about is true and what I'm talking about happened. And this investigative journalist went and like found this out and wrote about it years ago. So I'm telling the side that I witnessed when I heard the whispers and heard the rumors and, you know, was asked about it myself and knew people who were doing it. It was really important for me to reference that article because then it just didn't sound like some crazy story that I'm talking about and nobody else is talking about. And, you know, I wanted to prove that this is real and other people know about it. And here we go. So I quoted that article quite a bit. And one of the things I quoted was, or talked about, was they had photos of 3 of the women who had worked for the escort service. One was somebody who had been on the cover of Playboy. One was somebody who had been a centerfold. And the other one was somebody who had been a centerfold and a girlfriend. And I repeated their names in the book. And I don't think I really needed to. Like, I could have just said it the way I said it right now. Like, oh, one was a girlfriend and one was a playmate and one was blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't need to repeat their names because my point isn't to shame them. But at the time, I was just so eager to like get the facts in and prove this is real that I was more about like making sure I was quoting the facts and this is what it is. Where now I'm like, I don't really think I needed to include their names again, even though it was already published and out there and people already knew. So it's little things like that maybe I would change. I remember recently when I was asking for questions, somebody wrote me and they're like, why are you so whore-phobic when you talked about like the escorts in your book? And I'm like, I don't think I am. Like, I straight up say in the book, like, I don't judge any of these women for doing that. Who I do judge are the recruiters. I do not really like the people who were recruiting other women to get into this because they would go on to get a cut of everything they made through that agency. And I know that people were using tactics a lot like, oh, you know, there's no sex involved. It's just like a sugar daddy who wants to take you out for dinner and things like that. And of course, that's not true. And I just think that's like not cool to do to people. So I don't know. I think I overthink it though. I think when people come at me with like a criticism of my book or whatever, I'm like, I don't really take the time to think that there's just people who are looking for problems and looking for issues. Because sometimes people will bring up an issue or a problem they had with it. And I'm like, but I literally say in the book, I don't have a problem with these women and I don't judge them. I don't know. People are crazy. Anyway, guys, let me know what kind of video you would like to see next. And I will see you next time. Bye.